What's my motivation to fix my own vehicles? Pretty simple. New car prices. And used car prices for that matter. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Diagnosing channel and episode 7 of Thoroughbilly's Project Poorvette series. On the last episode we saw Thoroughbilly struggle really hard trying to fix those darn pop-up headlights. So we finally got the pop-ups working, much to his relief. So in today's episode you can see how Thoroughbilly can take a routine drive into town with this Poorvette and turn it into a weeks-long nightmare of trying to get the thing fixed. Oh, and there's some barn shenanigans. Enjoy the video. Well, it's a beautiful day out today. Decided to take the top off the Vette and go into town, get some oil for my Ranger, and heading down the highway here. And well, I'm not heading down the highway anymore, as you can see. Slow down. And you see I got the hood up, my Smog pump there on the top. It's always been kind of making noise since I've owned this thing. Just be bopping down the highway doing about 55, 60, and then all of a sudden I hear a loud squeal and my engine shuts off. Smell burning rubber, so I pull off, and sure enough that Smog pump just locked up on me. So there's no way I can get this thing to crank because that belt's on there nice and tight. Got a buddy of mine, Daniel from Barn Shenanigans, is going to come on over and try to help me out here. At least it's not 1,000 degrees out. There's a nice Vette past me. I'm joking about that. It's hot and I'm sweaty and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing now that that bearing is shot on that Smog pump. Air pump, Smog pump, whatever thing is, it's annoying. Nothing but trouble. So here I am with my buddy Daniel here, Barn Shenanigans. Check him out on YouTube. He was kind enough to help me flat tow back to his house. And yeah, you can even see the rubber burnt on there. Can definitely smell the burning rubber of this belt. I tried cranking it and it just wouldn't go anywhere. And here's the reason why. This thing is locked tighter than Alcatraz. I knew this thing was going bad. I've already been kind of eyeballing some Smog delete pulleys, and this just 100% sealed the deal that I'm going to buy one. I'm going to subtract that from the engine compartment. She's down. She's gonna be down for a while until I can get that part, and then we'll pick that back up where we left off here when I can get some parts for it. So appreciate Daniel and the help.
My pleasure.
It was really embarrassing to be towed, but I'm glad to have a good friend who was able to help me out. So
happens to everybody.
Yep, happens to the best of us and the worst of us. Days later, I'm back at my buddy Daniel's garage, aka Barn Shenanigans. He's so graciously allowing me to pull the Vette into his garage here, and praise the Lord, it is air conditioned, so it's a little bit of a balmy, muggy day today. So I'm glad to be able to get into some air conditioning. He's got the tools we're going to need to get this going. So we got some other fellas in there going to help us out. So here's the deal. I don't know if it's the pulleys bearing or if it's the internal guts that are bad on this thing. I'm going to take the Smog pump off. I'm going to take it apart and see what's going on in there. So I did some research, and we can take the Smog pump off and take it apart and take the guts out of it and still use the pulley. So I'm going to try that. I spent hours on the internet trying to find the pulley delete kit, and at the time of filming this, everything said it's 3 months out from getting it in. Let's head on inside in the air conditioning. I'm sweating already. Hopefully we can get the Poorvette back on the road. All right, there's Daniel. He's going to help me out tonight. Appreciate the use of the barn. Gotta love that thing in that window right there. It is nice and comfortable in here. So if the pulley bearing is bad, well then we're going to call it a night. Without further ado, let's get cracking. close that bracket. And then I've got one more sitting about right there. These are all 13s. I went ahead and just took the hose off the pump here. That should get me off there. Take these, look to be 10 millimeters off the back and see why this thing is locked up. Here's a moment of truth. Gonna pop this thing off and see what we got. If it'll come off. Slowly but surely. There we go. Okay, I can already see what the problem is. I don't know if you can see that right there. This little blade sticking out. That's like centrifugal, from what I understand. It'll go in and out based on RPMs. And right now it's fully out and it's completely making contact with the outer casing. So that's what's locked it up. So if I can get this thing fully reseated here, I don't know if I have to punch that or what. Maybe I just need to hit it with my purse. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
All right, so yeah. So that shaft goes through this hole here, and this can kind of fold in and out, which brings in and out these little blades.
Yeah.
And you'll also see this is not centered inside this. Likely this bearing up here has failed, which caused this shaft to just get off kilter and go right into the housing.
I'm in agreement with you. I think we need to focus on trying to remove this, see what the condition of this bearing is.
Okay.
Either way, it's pretty dry. It definitely has some miles on it. Oh, we'll disassemble a little bit further and see what we can find.
We'll keep turning it down. This thing is puking needle bearings. Well, for giggles, I'm gonna keep tearing this thing down, but I'm pretty sure that we're up the creek.
Say she's seized, or is there a snap ring in it?
I don't see anything but a bunch of debris. I mean, that's just plastic, so that comes off easy. We're at a point of no return here, I think, and we're just gonna, just for giggles, try to keep beating on this thing, take it apart.
Beat it into submission.
This is starting to move now, where it wasn't doing that before.
Fun fact, that's hot.
Yeah, it is.
Watch, we're going to find out there's a C-foot on the backside of it.
Man, I bet you there's something like that on there. I misspoke earlier. I thought this thing was off center because it failed, but getting an educated lesson here, this thing is supposed to rotate inside of the shaft, which allows these vanes to go in and out. Kind of like a Mazda rotary engine. So this I think rotates center inside that circumference, and these were offsetting each other. So this was going like that, and that was going like that.
Okay.
And like you said, that shaft is off-centered,
Yeah.
which allows these to go in and out as this thing spins, just centered in there, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, you said this is stationary.
No, look, this is that way anyway. So this is supposed to be off-centered.
Yep.
So I was wrong again. Hey, we're all learning here, right?
Learning curve. But it's the same principle as a Wenkel's rotary engine. So these vanes, as this is spinning, this camshaft is offset. So as this drum is spinning, these vanes move in and out. And then you have your inlet and your outlet, and it sweeps. That's still hot. And it sweeps that outer shell, and it just basically transfers air from the inlet to the outlet side. So it's an air vane. It's a vane pump. That's what it is.
It's a piece of junk is what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, fellas, it's another week later. I'm back at the Barn Shenanigans shop. I've got my pulley delete kit. Went ahead and got a new alternator. Before I get started on the Smog delete, I want to take you inside the shop here and see what Daniel's been working on. It's actually pretty sweet. There's a pretty cool hot rod show coming up, so he's made this little contraption to hang out with his buddies while they're at the show. So let's take a look at it real quick.
Okay. That's what I figured.
All right. Let the dog in. All right. What you got going on here, Daniel?
A lot of stuff going on. Right now we're working on a next project. This is the Table Traction 2.0. So the end result is going to be a motorized picnic table.
That's
So
awesome.
These guys have been helping us with it.
You got Colin and Peter here.
Fun fact, we've only got about $15 in this whole thing right now.
15 bucks.
Yep. This started its life out as a tour lawnmower. The engine was up front. We took the engine and put it in the back.
So you took it off of this frame,
Yeah.
swapped it around, put her in the back.
Put it in the back. And then there's some pulleys inside of here, so the hydrostatics it works. The steering linkage is just a black pipe. Put that on there to where at least it'll steer. Colin went to the hardware store today, picked up all of this material. That is going to be our frame for the top of the table.
What's your goal for the seating capacity on this?
6 people.
Nice.
So the other one was able to hold 6, but it was really pushing it. This one, we're going to put individual stools rather than just a bench.
There you go.
We are filming this, so you guys can check this out on Barn Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Yep. And YouTube.
Sweet.
Yep.
Give you more details on that and kind of showing you progress on all that. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm back at it. I've got a battery charger on here. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and replace the alternator. Pretty sure I got a parasitic draw somewhere, or this thing just isn't charging like it should. So I did the smart thing and just spent a bunch of money on a remanufactured one and see if that fixes the problem. Just throw parts at it, see if it'll fix it, you know. That's how it works, isn't it? I'm going to work on getting these brackets off of the engine. I've got to get, obviously, this one off, but I've got to get this one off as well. And I'll show you the unit I got, Smog pump delete kit. It's pretty nice. It's all aluminum, like CNC machined or whatever. It's got all the hardware I'm going to need on it. It's way too shiny for my engine. I don't know. It's just too good for this car. And it was priced accordingly. Really couldn't find one. And finally come up with a guy that had one out of Florida and just ordered it. Just bit the bullet and paid the money. Pretty sure these are the 2 areas where the new pump is going to be using. So there's a threaded nut bolt thing that goes in there. I'm going to have to get an extension on, get that out of there. So I'm pretty certain that these 2 points here are where the bottom of the pulley is going to go, and then the pulley runs to the back of the alternator here on the other arm. Here's my original equipment, Smog pump. Yeet. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Elite pulley kit. I got a new serpentine belt that's a little bit shorter. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use the original serpentine belt with this kit because the pulley is smaller. I've read some stories that the alternator kind of moves a little bit and the belt needs to be shorter, or you can keep the original belt but the alternator sits out even further. I don't know. I bought one just in case. We'll jump off that bridge when we get there. Okay, so I just basically have it finger tight in there right now. It's kind of catching a little bit. I probably need to clean the threads out, but I'm pretty sure those are the two locations that I need to go in. Got to spin in my pulley here, and it's not sitting real true right now. It's kind of going in and out. I may have to do a little quality control on this and take this pulley off. Always something. Try to get this alternator in there and just see if everything does line up, or if I need to use some of these washers that came with the kit. So I got the alternator on, got it bolted down. I went with the inside bolt here. Using the inside bolt allows me to keep this in pretty much the same location it was from the factory, which in my mind means I'm going to have to run that shorter belt, which I bought. So I've got Daniel here with me. We're going to take this thing off. You can see it's up against the pulley, but here it's pulled away a little bit. It's not square, true, plumb flush with this pulley, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to maybe get the C-clip off of here and try to press that in a little further so that it's not going like this on the pulley without damaging my expensive pulley. All right, so update, we're back. We took off over to Daniel's cousin's house. He had a press. Basically, the short version of this, the bearing was not pressed in straight, but you can see right when we pressed the bearing out, there was a little bit of this material that was down inside the shaft of this thing, and it was causing the bearing to not seat flush with the ridge on the end. And the bearing has a little bit of a click in it when I spin it. I spent way too much money on this kit just for it to have a bad bearing in it. We looked up the part number. The bearing's about a $4 bearing, so it's not even a real high dollar thing. A little bit frustrated with this whole process so far, and if you work on cars, this is what you run into. It is what it is. You can see that it's no longer got that terrible wobble in it. It is what it is. I'm going to torque these bolts down to the spec that they gave me in the paperwork, and then get my alternator hooked up and start this baby up and try to get this thing back on the road. We're going to start her up here and see if anything flies off of it at 1,000 miles an hour.
Fire in the hole.
Here we go. It's still together.
Good.
That horrible rattle and bunch of noise we had before, because of the bad bearing of the Smog pump, is now obviously gone. Got the Smog pump delete kit thanks to Daniel, helping me out, getting the tools I needed and helping me correct the mistakes I made by snapping a bolt in half, and even figuring out how to get that bearing out and then fix it. So I wouldn't say it's fixed, but I'd say it's probably good enough. So to try to pay him back a little bit, I'm going to take him for a ride in this thing and try to have some fun, get some rip'ems going. And it's already running better, I can already tell, because it's not trying to force that Smog pump air through the engine, and it was bad, and who knows.
The bearing's not seizing up either.
Yeah, that's good. So it's freely moving. I got a new charger, new alternator on it, so hopefully this thing will stay charged up in the battery. Enough yapping, let's get to driving. There you have it. I was able to take off the failed Smog pump, and after much aggravation and trials, finally got the new one put on. Really do appreciate Daniel for helping me out, allowing my car to sit as a scrap pile in his driveway for about a week and a half while I was accumulating parts. It's on the road again, so that's great. I was able to take it around for a spin with Daniel, have some fun with it, get some tire smoke. You gotta let the smoke out of the tires every now and again. It kind of builds up in there. It's not good for the tires, you gotta let them out. So still have a lot more components to take off of this whole emissions thing. We're gonna continue to work on this project. We got more stuff coming that you don't wanna miss. So thanks for sticking along for the ride. I hope you guys are enjoying this project. Leave some comments down below what you guys think about the project. Consider subscribing to the Daninator channel. Check out his merch. Get yourself a nice t-shirt. Got some other things on there too you can get. So once again, thank you very much. Hit that like switch, hit that notification bell. God bless you. We'll see you next time.